Hello, this is the latest immigration news alert from Catholic Charities, Archdiocese of Dubuque's Immigration Legal Services Program. This is a news alert regarding the latest announcement about the termination of the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan Humanitarian Parole Program that was announced on March 25th, 2025. On March 25th, 2025, the Department of Homeland Security, also known as DHS, announced its plan to terminate the humanitarian parole program for individuals from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The DHS made it official when it published a notice in the Federal Register terminating the CHNV humanitarian parole program. Through this publication notice, the termination will take effect 30 days from the publication notice, which means that parole will expire on April 24th, 2025. This notice directs individuals to depart the United States before their parole termination date or on April 24th, 2025. It also indicates that the administration intends to initiate expedited removal proceedings against individuals who entered the United States pursuant to the grant of CHNV parole within the last 2 years and who have not applied for other lawful status, such as temporary protected status, TPS, or asylum. This means any paroles that enter through the CHNV program will lose their parole status and parole-related employment authorization on April 24th, 2025, even if the status has a later expiration date. If the parolee has not applied for other lawful immigration pathways to remain in the United States, the Department of Homeland Security expects parolees to depart by April 24th, 2025. Now, for parolees who have not applied for other lawful immigration benefits, the Department of Homeland Security will use expedited removal or deportation against CHNV parolees who have not departed the U.S. by April 24th. The expedited removal process allows Immigration Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, to execute deportation removal actions against parolees without giving them an opportunity to have a hearing before an immigration judge. Expedited removal proceedings may not be appealed, and those removed by this process will be subject to a 5-year bar preventing them from re-entering the United States. For those individuals who are trying to determine if they are impacted by this latest announcement of the termination of parole, if you are an individual and a national from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, and entered through the United States through a humanitarian program, you would have had a record of admissions at the time of your lawful entry to the United States. You would have been issued an I-94 arrival documentation or been issued a stamp on your foreign national passport. That stamp would have had an entry of classification of an admission code, and that admission code would have had or been written with the following admission depending on your country of origin. For example, if you were from Haiti, you would have had the initials HHP, which designated Haiti Humanitarian Parole. If you are from Cuba, you would have had CHP, designating Cuban Humanitarian Parole. If you're from Nicaragua, you would have had NHP, designating Nicaragua Humanitarian Parole. Or if you were from Venezuela, you would have had VHP, designating Venezuela Humanitarian Parole. Now, please be mindful. The humanitarian parole termination announced on March 25th only applies to those who enter through the CHNV parole program. At this moment, does not impact those other individuals who were paroled through another program called CBP1. These would have been individuals who may have entered through another port of entry, likely at the southern border, and may have been seeking asylum at the southern border and may have been granted a different type of parole through the CBP program and may have been given a different type of classification, such as DT or DS, or parole through 212D5 5 parole status. Those individuals who receive that particular parole are not impacted at this time by this termination of CHNV parole. For those individuals who are impacted by the CHNV parole program, we encourage you to do the following. If you have arrived in the United States, please determine if you or someone else on your behalf has applied for any other benefits, such as asylum or temporary protected status. If you have not, we encourage you to consult with a qualified immigration attorney to determine whether you qualify for any other lawful immigration pathways to remain in the United States. For all CHNV parolees, please make sure you understand your rights if you encounter immigration officials. We encourage you to watch and review resources from Know Your Rights toolkits or materials. Please make sure to know your rights if you are detained. Create a safety plan in the event you or a loved one gets detained or deported. Please feel free to visit Catholic Charities website and our Know Your Rights and Safety Plan toolkit for more information that can be accessed at catholiccharities.org/KYR. You can contact Catholic Charities Immigration Legal Services for more information by contacting us at 319-364-7121.